We have a 2003 Ford Escape. We're going to go through the steps in order to replace the fuel pump. We'll first bleed the pressure off the system using our relief valve on our pressure gauge. Be sure and capture this fuel into a safe container. Before we begin the repair, we'll disconnect the negative battery cable. In order to gain access to the fuel pump on this application, we'll remove the rear seat. We'll now disconnect all the electrical connections from the access plate. It's very important that you clean the top of the tank to keep any debris from getting into the tank. Since we're working inside the vehicle compartment, always be sure that this is well ventilated. Avoid using any compressed air or vacuum when cleaning the top of the tank, as this may induce a static spark and create an explosion. When removing the fuel pressure and return lines, be sure and capture any fuel that may leak out of these lines. We'll remove the fuel line retaining clips and reinstall back into the fuel line fittings. We'll remove the locking ring using a spanner wrench and turning the locking ring counterclockwise. These wrenches are available at most local parts stores. As you remove the fuel pump module from the tank, be aware that there's a reservoir on the module assembly that will hold residual fuel. Be sure and capture this safely into a container. Because of the way we can easily gain access to the fuel pump on this application, it would be tempting to just replace the pump and not clean the tank. But we always want to make sure that the environment that the pump goes into is as clean as possible. You want to remove excess fuel from the tank using an improved container, and then using a lint-free rag, clean out the inside of the tank. Now that we've thoroughly cleaned the inside of the tank, we're ready to install the new Airtex module assembly. Before installing the module into the tank, we'll install the tank seal onto the module assembly. As you install the module into the tank, be sure and align the locating tabs on the module assembly with the recesses in the top of the tank. With the module fully seated into the tank, we'll install a locking ring using the spanner wrench and turning the locking ring clockwise. Connect the fuel lines, reconnect electrical connections, reinstall the cover plate. With the repair complete, we'll reattach the negative battery cable. Cycle the key 2 to 3 times in order to charge the system. Then start the vehicle and monitor pressure, making sure it's within vehicle specifications. Now before we remove our pressure gauge, we'll shut the vehicle off and bleed the pressure using our pressure gauge, making sure to capture any fuel into a safe container.